have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
That's right, we are about to return to Skull Island, so please do remain seated and hold on to all of your belongings.
We really put a lot of thought into the character and personality of Kyle, and he's so much more than a monster. In fact, he's not a monster, you know, he is an incredibly majestic, ancient creature. He's a force of nature. He's old, he's wise, he's proud, he's fierce, and obviously he has a heart. The most important feature with Kong are his eyes. Kong's eyes are wonderfully expressive. They're full of emotion. His eyes are like a window into his personality and his heart. He's had an enormous number of encounters with his foes, the T-Rexes and various dinosaurs on Skull Island. So he's been beaten up, scarred, chewed up, spat out by these dinosaurs at various times, and he wears the scars of a lot of ancient battles. We're back in Skull Island.
The Lord of the Rings trilogy. Weta Digital has now won 6 Academy Awards for their work on feature films, but their company and their work dates all the way back to the 1990s.
With Project Like Studio Tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know people are looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shots we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, on those canoes that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away. We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presented into the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
Digital effects are often referred to as CGI, or computer-generated images or imagery, and that all happens post-production. So like I said, there are three different parts of production. Pre-production, everything that happens before the camera rolls. Writing, casting, budgeting. Production is what we think of when we think of making a movie or TV show. Lights, camera, action, actors and actresses on set. And then post-production is everything that happens after filming's complete, before the project is ready to be seen on screen. So a lot of the digital effects, editing, and sound happen in post-production. Okay, everyone, we are going to shift gears a little bit here, and we're going to start talking about picture cars. A picture car is any vehicle you see on screen, whether large or small. And over to your left, you are going to see some picture cars that are almost as famous as the actors and actresses they were seen on screen with. So we have picture cars from TV shows like the 2008 version of Knight Rider. We have Magnum PI's Ferrari. And of course we have picture cars from movies like Back to the Future and Back to the Future Part 2. We even have prehistoric cars from the Flintstones. Don't worry, they didn't run solely on foot power. They also had golf cart engines. And of course, what would a display of picture cars be without several examples from the Fast and Furious franchise? It was very exciting to have Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw out here this past summer. Idris Elba, Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, and Vanessa Kirby were all on the lot filming that newest installment. Now, for those of you who have seen Jurassic World or Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, you probably also recognize the gyrosphere. You may be thinking to yourself, there's something missing from the gyrosphere. The sphere itself, right? It didn't have any glass. That's because they found the gyrosphere, if they had glass in it, it reflected everything. Not just the natural surroundings, the camera, the crew, the lighting equipment, the boom mic, everything. So they took the glass out and they decided to put it in post-production using CGI. Full circle, everyone. Okay, this next part of the tour is for fans of the original Jurassic movies.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
If you look to your left and right, you're going to see picture cars, sets, props, even some of the foliage are from those first three Jurassic Park movies, the first of which came out in 1993. Up on your left, you're going to see the mobile lab from the second Jurassic Park movie. That's The Lost World Jurassic Park, starring Jeff Goldblum, Julianne Moore, and Vince Vaughn. If you look up on your screens, you're going to see that mobile lab in action. You can hear that scraping of metal up in the scene, but if you look over at the mobile lab itself, you'll see it's made mostly out of plywood, dowel rods, and paint. We'll let you keep... Oh! Speaking of the stars of Jurassic Park, it looks like a couple of them are popping out to say hello. We're so lucky. We even have a Spinosaurus. She's smiling for all your cameras. She loves the paparazzi. But if you look back up on your screens, you can see that mobile lab hanging off the side of the cliff. Now, this was not done with CGI. This was a practical effect, meaning that they really did hang that mobile lab off the side of the cliff. The thing about this scene that is fake is the cliff itself. This was not filmed on location. It was filmed here on the Universal lot. We passed by that cliff at the beginning of the tour, but you probably didn't recognize it because it was a parking garage. So what they did is they dressed up that parking garage with real and fake foliage, making it look like a cliff and creating a much safer, more controlled environment to do this particular scene. Another thing you'll notice about the scene, of course, is the weather. Rain is a great way to raise the stakes in any scene. So if you want to make something scarier, add rain. More dramatic, add rain. More romantic, add rain. If you want to make this tour even better, what do we have to do? Add rain, that's right. This is a very high-tech effect though, folks, so please stay seated. Keep your arms and legs inside the tram. We're using sprinklers here, people. So what we do is to shoot the water straight up into the air. And then gravity does the rest. There's some flash cubes on top of the buildings out of sight from the camera. They're creating the illusion of lightning. And then the thunder you're hearing would be added post-production. Only about 20% of what you hear in a movie or TV show is recorded while the action is happening. That's mostly just the dialogue, what the actors and actresses are saying. Everything else you hear, like door slams, footsteps, the rumble of a flash flood, is all put in post-production by sound editors. Speaking of flash floods, look out, car 3! Don't worry, car 1 is coming for you. Don't say I didn't warn you. That flash flood is a very popular effect. In fact, Lady Gaga used it for one of her music videos for the song Judas, and she stood right there in the middle of the flash flood, and the water crashed around her in all of her Gaga glory, and it was great. Check it out, the music video for Lady Gaga's Judas. Now, the flash flood is part of Old Mexico. That's the portion of the backlot we're in right now. And Old Mexico is where we filmed Three Amigos, starring Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short. We're going to be saying adios to Old Mexico, though, and out into the Old West as we enter 6 Points, Texas. Speaking of awards season, 6 Points, Texas is where Quentin Tarantino filmed part of his 9th feature film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Margaret Robbie. And this was, if you've seen the movie, the portion of the sets that they used for Lancer, which was the fictional Western TV show that Leonardo DiCaprio was working on. So yeah, these were the Old West sets in the 1960 movies setting. So it was like a set inside a set. Also, this portion of the set isn't just current, it dates back to the silent film era. This is where Carl Lumbly, the founder of Universal Studios, filmed many of his early films as well. Okay, friends, we are about halfway through the tour. So I just want to do a quick reminder to please stay seated during the entire tour. The studio is private property, and if you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the right cord to get my attention, and I will be back to assist you, but please remain seated on the tram. If you look over to your left, you can see Park Lake, sometimes referred to as Hollywood Ocean, and that is what we transformed into the Amazon River for Creature from the Black Lagoon, one of our classic monster movies. We love our classic monster movies here at Universal Studios. They were really our bread and butter during the 30s and 40s. They put us on the map, kept us in business, and we're excited to announce that we have a new The Invisible Man coming out in February of 2020 in collaboration with Blumhouse, and that is starring Elizabeth Moss. Our classic monster movies, though, also filmed in Little Europe, and that's where we're headed right now. Little Europe could be transformed into any country in Europe just by changing the language on the street sign. I'm sure many of you would recognize it as The Good Place, though. Who watches The Good Place? Yeah, anyone? Car 2, 3, 4? Okay, if you haven't seen The Good Place, I'm going to show a clip up on your screens here just so you can get a reference.
are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I've never ever seen this.
You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. So if you look up on your screen, you can see the yogurt shop, and as we turn the corner here, you'll see that yogurt shop right in front of you. If you've never seen The Good Place, well, again, I love it. It's hilarious. There are only going to be 4 seasons, so it's a, not too much of investment, but you definitely have to start at the beginning. You cannot jump in the middle of season 4 for this one. Over to your left, you are going to see the train station from The Good Place as well. And this is where they head out whenever they go to the medium place or the bad place.
Going to the bad place?
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
It's not just NBC and Universal Productions that film here at Universal Studios. Any production company can rent out portions of the lot. Little Europe is where Disney filmed some of Pirates of the Caribbean, Princess Diaries, 2, Royal Engagement, and if anyone remembers the The Brandy Cinderella that they did, that was also in Little Europe. And of course, someone who is always here on our back lot is the Hallmark Channel. They film Home and Family over to your left 5 days a week, so we're glad to have them here on the lot as well. Now, we saw so many sound stages at the beginning of the tour that I thought you all deserved to see the inside of a sound stage. So we're going to be heading into Sound Stage 50. Sound Stage 50 is our only two-level sound stage. So here on the ground level, you can see that it's dressed as a subway scene. The production designer came in, put up different posters, the turnstiles, and then above us is a second level that's dressed as the street scene. So you're able to go from one level to the next in a single shot. Now, I really do want you to keep a hold on everything in here because it is a hot set. The biggest earthquake anyone on this tram ever has to experience. Fingers crossed. Now those were all practical effects, meaning that those effects were happening in front of the camera, in front of us in real time. It was real fire, real water, the tanker really did come through the ceiling, and we were really shaking around. Of course, something like that could be done on the computer, but it could take months to create digitally. You have to program it, design it, let it render, plus you have all the money involved in doing something like that digitally. So if you're doing a TV show, sometimes with something with a smaller budget and quicker turnaround time, it's easier to do it the old-fashioned way, and it's just as effective. Does anyone know what movie that earthquake was based on? Earthquake! Told you, real easy answers on my tour, everyone. Earthquake was during our disaster movie phase. I don't know what it is about Universal Studios, but between the disaster films and the monster movies, we just love keeping our audiences on the edge of their seats. Speaking of being on the edge of your seats, please do remain seated. Hold on to your belongings. We're right up against the water here. Don't worry about the shark. He's hanging up there, but oh no, did you see that? Oh, I think there's another shark in the water. No, you don't understand. Officer George is out there. Okay, everyone call out to George on 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't think he can hear us. One more time. 1, 2, 3. He had a lot of guts to be out there, and there they are. I'm sure he's fine, right? Barely a flesh wound. We're gonna keep moving. Bid George a fond farewell. Now we're gonna hang out behind these barrels of, what does that say? Gasoline? Cool. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Oh, but what's happening with the dock over there? See, no, that is not supposed to happen. Okay. And that's why we ask you not to smoke on the tour. You never know what a spark is gonna do. But where's the shark? I haven't seen the shark for a while. It's everything. Friends, we've been happy for ourselves a lot on this tour, and we deserve it. But I think this time we need to give that shark a hand. Not a real hand. Don't beat the shark. No, we're going to give that shark a round of applause because he worked perfectly. I just wish the same could be said for the shark they used during the filming of Jaws. They built a shark for that movie here in California. They named him Bruce after director Steven Spielberg's attorney. But they wanted to film on location. They wanted to film on the East Coast. So they shipped Bruce across the country. And they were so excited. They put Bruce in the water day one. And Bruce sank like right off the bat, just to the bottom of the ocean. They were able to retrieve Bruce, but there were a lot of problems with that entire production. To tell us a little bit more about that, here is the cast and crew of Jaws.
That's a much maligned shark. The shark was frustrating. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio waves. They were always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working.
We just waited around. We just waited and waited and waited.
The shark worked well enough. For a while there, it had the biggest hit of all time. So I really owe the shark a lot.
The shark did work well enough. In fact, Jaws became the very first summer blockbuster, and it was so successful that it stayed in theaters for over a year. And it had several sequels. There's Jaws, Jaws 2, Jaws 3D, Jaws the Revenge. There was even a point where we handed the franchise over to the fine folks at National Lampoon, the comedic geniuses who brought us Animal House and the vacation movies, and they wrote a Jaws script. It's called Jaws 3, People Zero. They never made the movie though, and I'm still very disappointed about it. So Jaws is another practical effect, but there are also something called practical sets. If you look over to your right, you're going to see a practical set that was originally built inside of Soundstage 12 for the movie Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, starring Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds. Now, a practical set is a set you can film both inside of and outside of. The opposite of a practical set is a facade. A facade is just going to be the front of a building, sometimes the front and sides. And so you would film the outside shot in front of the facade and then have to move to a sound stage to get the interior scene. We are now in Colonial Street. Colonial Street has many facades and practical sets that make it look like a classic American suburb. Now, we call it Colonial Street, but I'm sure many of you would recognize it better as Wisteria Lane from ABC's hit television show Desperate Housewives. They filmed all 8 seasons out here on Colonial Street. It is a very popular filming location, though. In fact, actually, we cannot go down Colonial Street because there's almost always production going on down here. And if you'd like to see a couple of the other projects that have worked here on Colonial Street, look up on your screens. The very first television show to film in front of a live outdoor audience. This is where Smash Mouth filmed their music video for All Star. Andy Griffith's house in Matlock is over to your left as we exit. It's the greenhouse with the orange trim. We're going to say goodbye to the suburbs though, and we're going to head up Wilderness Road. As we head up Wilderness Road, I'm going to have you all look to your left. Look to your right. You're going to see trees. Maybe a bush. And that's because we keep this part of the backlot overgrown just in case a production wants to film a scene in the woods in the middle of nowhere. Now, a scene, for television, for a movie, could be only 20 seconds long, and you don't want to have to schlep all of your equipment out into the real woods to do a short little scene like that. When you think all of the lighting equipment, the cameras, the sound equipment, the people, the trailers that you have to use for even one scene of a TV show or movie, you don't want to take all of that out into the real wilderness when you can come right here to Wilderness Road. And so we keep this part of the lot overgrown and dark at night so that it gives the illusion that you're out in the middle of nowhere. Fox Box starring Sandra Bullock also used Wilderness Road for one of their scenes as well. We're gonna leave the wilderness behind and enter a completely different world. That's right, we're going to Whoville. This is part of the set from Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the 2000 version starring Jim Carrey as the Grinch, directed by Ron Howard. Now I say this is just part of the set. The full set used 2 million linear feet of styrofoam and took up 10 of our sound stages, and 11 sound stages just for hair and makeup. That's crazy, right? Speaking of crazy, you should see who the Who's have to live next to here on the Universal back lot. That's right there, right next to the... Oh. This is the Bates Motel, so I think that is Norman Bates. I mean, I'm sure it's fine. He's probably just packing for a vacation. Oh. Oh, no. No, that is the kind of baggage I do not want to deal with. But it's fine, he hasn't... Oh, he has spotted us. Yeah, Eloy, I think you have the right idea. Let's get out of here. Ooh, look out, car 4! You okay? Car 4, you still with us? Yeah, you're all gonna have to thank Eloy for getting us out of there in the nick of time. Driving us up the psychopath, away from the psychopath. If you did not find that joke hilarious, it's probably because you didn't know the Bates Motel is from the movie Psycho, which came out in 1960, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Over to your left, you're going to see the original Psycho house from that film. From one iconic set to the next, we are now entering the airplane crash site from Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. We are going to be stopping here for a moment so you can get plenty of pictures, but please do remain seated and hold on to your belongings. While we're stopped, we're going to hear more about the production from production designer Rick Carter and director Steven Spielberg.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around the vision of Steven Spielberg.
When we first began to sit down to talk about the War of the Worlds, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Listen to me. Listen now, man. Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Now closed. Robbie, get in. Get in.
Even with sets like this one, this is a real 747 that they purchased, transported here, and destroyed for this movie. Even with sets like this, Steven Spielberg still ended up using 500 special effect shots for that movie. Hey friends, we've got 10 minutes left of the tour. We are going to be returning to the theme park shortly, so just for one last reminder, if you need any assistance, pull that cord and remain seated. I will be back to assist you. As we turn the corner, I'm going to have you look over your right shoulders at that big blue wall. That big blue wall is called Falls Lake, and in front of the big blue wall is a big pit dug out that can hold 2.7 million gallons of water. It takes 3 days to fill, and we use it for special effects scenes using water. An example of how that was used is in the movie Sully, starring Tom Hanks.
Evacuate.
So if you look up on your screen, you can see the airplane. That's real. The water is real. The people are real. Tom Hanks was real. But everything you see in the background, the whole skyline, that was superimposed in post-production on that big blue wall using blue screen or green screen technology. Again, this creates a much safer, more controlled environment to do these particular scenes, as opposed to filming out in the open water, which can become very precarious for all of the equipment and the actors and actresses. Okay, friends, we've been talking so much about how we make movies that I think it is now time to put you all into the movies. Here's the situation. One person on this tram is an undercover witness. Don't say if it's you, you're undercover. And the rest of you have to keep them safe from Owen Shaw. If you recognize that name, you know that we are about to enter the world of Fast and Furious. You can see Dominic Toretto's Charger as we enter Sullivan's garage. Please do remain seated and hold on to your belongings. And have those 3D glasses ready. Not need to put them on quite yet, but definitely get a hold
keep you safe, we need your help. We don't want the syndicate tracking us here.